You cannot deny it. Moicano has been on a roll, bro, a roll that has been unprecedented, man. He lost to RDA, the beloved RDA here on this program. Since then, beat Brad Riddell. What happened to Brad Riddell? That's actually a great question. We have not seen him in a while. Beats Drew Dober, beats Jalen Turner, even though he got knocked out, and then Jalen Turner just walked away. So, I mean, he got the win, but he put people on notice with that Saint-Denis win right there, right? Which was almost just a little fraud check because Moicano, he's, grappling, that's his game. But AJ, if you just had to give me something, what's been the one theme of his victories pretty much on that entire win streak?
Durability, Derek. Durability and willingness to stay in the fight. Like, you're just not willing to go out and take a nap, really, is what helps him out throughout a lot of them.
Fair. I'm going to give you the most common basic answer, though. Wrestling, right? He's out wrestling these dudes, man. All of them. Like, it's not even close. Like, his grappling is sick, which is, like, fantastic. AJ, it's not happening. You're not out wrestling Beneil Dariush, dog. If you go back and you watch the fight that he had with Diego Ferreira or the fight that he had against Mateus Gamrot, one thing you're not seeing is him getting out scrambled, him getting out wrestled and just put it flat on his back and held there. You do not see that. Now, in the striking, yeah, I think Dariush is a little slower, right? I think Moicano is going to have a little bit of an advantage on the feet, but I think you can't sit down and just play it cool. I'm just going to beat him in jiu-jitsu. I'm just going to beat him in wrestling. That's why when I look at the odds, man, and I see plus 170 dog for Dariush at open, minus 195 comeback there for Money Moicano, I'm just like, yo, what happened, man? Dariush was supposed to be the only guy who could actually defend for the championship. Then he got knocked out by Sarukian, and then it just all fell apart. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually looking at the live numbers, Derek. Plus 140 Dariush and minus 170 for Moicano, so it's getting a little bit closer. So people are seeing what you're seeing right here. I do think for this one, Derek, Moicano is going to be needing to depend on his speed in the hands, because you're right. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything against Dariush on the ground with how skilled Dariush is and with how much of a break he's had from his last knockout. So I don't think anything of that's going to come into play, but I do see Moicano, man, just working range, working distance, keeping him busy, keeping him guessing, maybe having the washing machine style fight where you're able to scramble up and down, but I do think the ones and twos and the kicks of Moicano are going to be on display that night.
All the notes that I'm looking at right here shows Moicano ahead. Significant strikes landed, accuracy, defense. Only thing that he's not better at is pretty much takedown average, right? Which it looks like it's pretty much equal. So that really doesn't count, man. So yeah, this could turn into a boxing match. And again, I can see Moicano having some success. But what changed? Aside from the wrestling, has Moicano changed as a fighter from the days that we saw him fight, 3, 4, 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think the one thing that has changed for Moicano as of late especially is the mindset. Like, this dude's going in and willing to lay it down on the line to get the finish. Finish or be finished has really been his mentality as of late. And you can tell he fights with a little bit more aggression, a little bit more passion in there, which is a good thing for him.
A Charles Oliveira-esque mental switch, if you will, right? That's what it sounds like to me, which, again, is one of those guys where you just were a guy, and then all of a sudden you weren't, and you were on a run. This will be the determining factor. If you can beat Beneil Dariush, I will put ultimate respect on Money Moicano's name, and I will never doubt him again, even though you can't do that in this sport. But again, I'm not a guy that writes off the people who have the resume, right? You lose to Sarukian, who's fighting for a title. You lose to Oliveira, who was a former champion. You beat Gamrot Ferguson. Okay, Ferguson doesn't count. Let's just take that one off the record. But then you beat Diego Ferreira, so two of the nastiest scramblers in the division. I got Benny just purely off of scrambles pace, cardio, relentlessness, all of that good stuff. I don't think he gets chinned easily, even though he did against Sarukian, but who knows? Everything changes once you get that big knockout, right?
Everything changes, but Derek, he has had a year off, especially after the last two knockouts. I was a little worried, and it's weird because, like you said, Benny with the gray hair, everybody thinks he's an older guy, and with how the last two fights have been, I'm wondering how many miles he has left on his body. And Moicano seems to be taking this resurgence of his own career, taking it in his own hands. I like Moicano right here, man. I'm excited to see how this fight actually unfolds because of how skilled both fighters are.
And it's funny, man, because it's only 35. Could you imagine at 35 being like, you old fucking, get out of here, you old decrepit man, You're like, yo, what? 35? Like, okay. But hey, listen, contentious pick right here. Benny Dariush, we're taking the plus money right here. Plus 140, cash that one live odd right now, so go get it right now. And then AJ, you're rolling with?
Money Moicano, folks, and I'm actually looking at the props right here. Money Moicano, I like him at decision, which is kind of crazy, but I do think I'm banking on the durability and the technical ability of both of these fighters. Plus 205 for Moicano to get the decision right here.
All right, fair. Run it. That's going to be a good one, folks.